Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to this digital meeting of the Grants for the Voluntary Sector Panel, being held via Microsoft Teams on Wednesday, the 21st of January 2021. Just to confirm that this meeting will be recorded and made available to view via the Council's website, except for discussions involving confidential or exempt items. Therefore, the images and audio of those individuals present and/or speaking will be publicly available to all via the recording on the Council's website at www.caerphilly.gov.uk. If members lose connection during the meeting, please make every attempt to reconnect. However, the meeting will continue as long as it remains quiet. Today, we will be using Microsoft Forms for voting on the agenda items. I will now hand over to Mr. Stephen Harris for the first item on the agenda.
Yeah, thank you and good evening, members. Hope it's warm enough for you all. Can I ask them, please, is there a nomination for the chair for the forthcoming year?
Move re-elect, Chair. Sorry, Steve, move re-elect.
And I'll second that.
Okay, great. And can we have a show of hands, perhaps, just to secure agreement? Okay, I can't see everybody, but can I assume that that's unanimous? Okay, in the absence of anyone saying otherwise, then Councillor Gale is duly elected as chair, and I'll hand over to you now, Chair, to appoint the vice chair.
Thank you, Steve. So could I have nominations for a vice chair?
Move re-elect.
No, a seconder?
I second that, Chair.
Will we be using Microsoft Forms or just a show of hands?
I think a show of hands,
please, Chair.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's everyone unanimous. Okay. So Councillor Goff is unanimously elected as vice chair. Thank you very much. The second item on the agenda is apologies for absence. If members are aware of any apologies not listed, please add them to the chat within the show conversation on Notify Committee Services. Could I ask the clerk to do a roll call of attendee?
Thank you. Members, when I call your name, please could you indicate if you're present. Councillor Andrews.
Present.
Councillor Davis. Councillor Farina Childs. Councillor Gay.
Present.
Councillor Hardacre. Councillor Goff.
Present.
Councillor Higgs. Councillor Leonard. Councillor Priest. Councillor Ridgewell.
Present.
Councillor Taylor.
Present.
And Councillor Zapatinsky.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Move to item number 3, declarations of interest. Councillors and officers are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and/or prejudicial interest in respect of any item of business on this agenda in accordance with the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Code of Conduct for both councillors and officers. Please use the hands up function to indicate if you have any such declaration. Okay, move on.
Chair, can I come up? Sorry, it's only
sorry.
a technicality really. On page 6, item 5.2, it's there for information only, but one of the items there is for Llanbara Community Centre, of which I'm chair of the management committee. So it's just a place on record, but the item is for information only.
Right, okay. Thank you very much. Item number 4, to approve the minutes of the grants to the voluntary sector panel held on the 24th of March 2021. So we'll check the minutes for accuracy. So we've got so it's page 1. Sorry, my screen is going a bit. Page 1, page 2. Oh. That's sorry, it's just 2 pages.
Chair, move, Chair.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
I second that, Chair.
Is everybody in agreement? So forms is coming up. Is there people seeing that?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
But excuse me, I seem to be having something strange going on with mine. It's not letting me access it. So I can see it, but it won't submit it.
Chair, I think that Sharon has confirmed that that has been carried. And I assume, Sharon, you can record Councillor Gaye's vote separately.
I think it just came up as done. I don't know what the delay was. It wouldn't let me do it for a while, but I think it's done now.
Yeah, I can take your vote verbally, Councillor Gay.
Okay, I'm for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then item number 5, applications for financial assistance. I can hand over to Vicky Doyle.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Good afternoon, members. So the purpose of the report is to inform the panel of applications received for grants between 1st of January and 31st of March in the 2020-21 financial year. Applications for assistance between the 1st of April and the 31st of May 2021 for the current financial year, and then to seek views on 2 applications from individuals. I progress through the report. So under item 5, which is the sort of main body of the report, the first section discusses the position with the budget for 2021. So at the start of the year, there was a budget of 186,759, discretionary rate relief allocation of 172,244, leaving a balance or remaining budget of 14,514. There was then some carry forwards from previous years totaling 125,242, giving a total budget available for the year of 139,756. Members will recall that at previous meetings we have had some allocations against the budget totaling 3,750. And we also had some money coming back into the budget for underspends or projects that were not proceeding for 1,500. So the total remaining budget as at 31st of December 2020 was 137,506. So between the 1st of January and the 31st of March, we had 2 new general criteria awards totaling £300, and they are detailed in item 5.1.2. So there were no applications outside of the general criteria. So the total allocations for the 2021 financial year were 4,050, which leaves a balance of 137,206 to be carried forward into 2020-21-22. As I've noted at previous meetings over the last, or probably the last couple of meetings, the number of applications is still being affected by obviously the ongoing COVID situation. We would normally expect to have quite a number of applications from individuals where they are representing their sport either at home or abroad. And obviously, due to the COVID situation, those have all been cancelled. So we haven't made a lot of, any grant approvals in relation to that. And also because a lot of organisations have been closed, again, we've had a significant reduction in the number of applications received. So moving on to the budget for 2020.
Sorry, Vicky, can I come in? Sorry, Chair.
Yeah.
I put my hand up there. It's just a question. We've got another maybe 2 panels this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I maybe suggest that we monitor what happens on those 2 panels, and if necessary, do what we did 2 years ago with people coming out of COVID, and perhaps we could look at one of the first panels in the new financial year of increasing, like we did last time, the amount of grant that we could give to try and get the money out the door. We did with the Welsh churches, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, we did, I don't know if members remember, we did discuss increasing the allocation a little while ago, which was approved by the panel, but then got sort of taken into a wider review of the voluntary sector, the funding of the voluntary sector. Did you want to come in on that, Steve?
Yeah, we are doing a service review around all of the grants, not just through this panel, but other grants that we do across the council as well. So if you could bear with us on that review for the time being, because there will be recommendations will come out of that process. But I do agree with you, Councillor Goff. I think let's monitor the position certainly for the next 6 months or so. And it may well be that we either need to look to increase the value of the grants. If we at that point haven't concluded the review that we're doing, then perhaps it's something we need to consider outside of the review. But I think let's monitor it for the next 6 months, see if the applications start increasing again, and then perhaps, as I said, review the position at that time and decide how to proceed from there. Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
So moving on to the 2021-22 financial year, the budget allocation is 188,160. The estimated discretionary rate relief for the year is 194,757, which gives a deficit budget of 6,597. However, we have got those underspends from previous years, which for 2021 was 137,206, which gives an available balance for the year of 130,608. And obviously we've had no allocations to date, as this is the first panel meeting of the new financial year. So between 1st of April and the 31st of May, you can see in 5.1.8, we have had a number of applications come through, 5 applications totaling £900, which have been approved under delegated powers. Again, no applications outside of the general criteria.
So can I come in again?
Sorry,
Stuck my hand up again.
Yeah.
Just to pick up on it. Can I go back to 5.1.6? And for the donkey's years I've been involved with this, I always express concern about that discretionary rate relief. And had we got the money out of the door, there would have been nothing for us to give the groups who really need the money. But a lot of those organisations in receipt of rate relief have substantial reserves. And I don't know, because this is being broadcast, I don't want to mention them specific. But I don't know what came it last time, Steve. We were going to look at it because it involves education establishments and certain sports groups. But that does worry me. If we were efficient in getting the grants out of the door, then we could end up having no money to give those groups in the community who really need financial assistance. So it might be, I don't know, you know, Steve, you've heard me say this for donkey's years now.
Yeah,
without me going into
did
detail about those specific organisations, but some of them have
did
got millions of pounds in the bank.
Yeah, we did actually tweak the discretionary rate relief policy a few years back, and some of those larger organisations that you're referring to no longer qualify, or it's now been capped, so they can only access so much of the funding. At the moment, Councillor Gough, I'm reasonably relaxed because of the level of reserves that we currently have for the panel. Clearly, moving forward, if we see more and more of these grants being awarded, I'd be open to considering at some point hiving off the discretionary rate relief budget and keeping it separate to the panel. So then we would obviously have a definitive budget that we could work to every year. But again, as part of this wider service review, that's something we'll take a look at and make some appropriate recommendations.
Thanks, Steve. I think that would be a far better way of running the scheme, because like I say, when you take that amount out, you know, under a year where we become efficient, or an increase in application could put us in deficit before we start. So thanks, Steve.
Okay, Councillor Ridgewell has a
Oh, sorry,
question.
yes, let's say John Ridgewell.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. Yeah, if I could just ask a question here, I think Steve's the guy who's going to answer this. You know, as a new member here, I'm not really familiar with how this functions, and it picks up on what Rob Gough is saying in terms of the budget of 188 and the discretionary rate relief estimated at 194. Can you just explain to me what this discretionary rate relief means? Because I don't really understand the maths behind this, Steve. In layman's terms, please.
Basically, a number of organisations under the rate relief policy do qualify for reduced rate bills on the national non-domestic rates or business rates. In many ways, they're charitable organisations, or they're things like community amateur sports associations and not-for-profit bodies, etc. I think what this has thrown at this time is the first time I can remember where the actual discretionary rate relief is higher than the budget that's available. So it is something we need to keep under review, Councillor Ridgewell. But as I said, if you could be patient with us and let us consider this as part of the service review, because I'm minded to move this money for the rate relief into a separate area and then have a dedicated budget for the grants to the voluntary sector panel. But as I said, something we'll need to consider as part of the service review. But if you can be patient with us, we will come back to you on that once that review is concluded.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I just didn't understand why it sat in there. I mean, maybe that's just an accounting, whatever you call it, you know, that it sits in there. But you know, it does seem anomalous to me that we've got that particular issue of the rate relief sitting in amongst those figures. But if it's going to change, I'm not overly worried. Yeah. Thanks.
And just to say, this goes back a long time. It's way before my time as head of corporate finance. So I think it's a legacy issue, you know, and it's obviously something that needs to be looked at now as part of this review.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Councillor Andrews, would you like to declare the interest you missed earlier?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I realised when Vicky was talking about 5.1.8 that the valley daffodils were mentioned. I was sat out in the garden, unfortunately, and we had this swarm of wasps come over, so that's why I've missed it. I should have declared an interest. The valley daffodils is one of my chosen charities, and my friend volunteers for them, so that's a personal interest. My apologies.
Chair, you okay for me to carry on?
Yes, Vicky.
Yeah, okay. So just to kind of round that off on the voluntary sector budget, obviously we've had the £900 of applications in the current financial year, which leaves a balance of 129,708, and as 5.1.11 suggests, obviously the agreement is there to bring forward underspends into the current year. So, you know, we don't have any issue. So, you know, it'll just automatically be funded from that. So moving on to the Welsh Church Act funds. So for the 2021 financial year, the budget was 188,843, which was made up of an allocation of 64,750 from Monmouthshire County Council, which is the annual allocation that we get, which does vary slightly year by year. Unallocated sums from previous years of 113,911, and then we had a number of underspends on completed projects, and one project that didn't proceed, totaling 10,181.24. So you can see in the table in 5.2.1 that the available budget for 2021 was 188,843. We previously reported to panel awards of 93,555, leaving a balance of 95,287. In the period between the 1st of January and 31st of March, we had 3 further applications of 12,879, as shown in table 522, and no applications from individuals, which meant that we had the total awards for the year were 106,435, with a remaining balance of 82,408 carried forward into the 2021-22 financial year. So this year the budget is 146,248 at the start of the year, which is made up of our annual allocation this year of 63,840 from Monmouthshire County Council, and then those spends of 82,408, as I mentioned previously. So the total budget for this now is 146,248. So between the 1st of April and 31st of May, we've received 4 applications totaling 15,885, and the table in 526 actually shows the applications that have been approved. So 5.2.7 obviously deals with applications from individuals. So I'm going to hand over to Sharon Hughes for the start of this section.
Hi, Sharon, are you with us at the moment?
Apologies, I was having some technical difficulties again. Could you repeat it, please?
Yeah, Sharon, I think Victoria's handed over to you now just to go into exempt session for the 2 applications from individuals.
Okay. Did you go through the public interest test then?
No, I think that's what Vicky was looking for you to do, Sharon.
Right, if you could just bear with me 1 second. Apologies, I am having some technical difficulties this evening. If you could just bear with me for 1 moment.
Members, I understand. Are you waiting to take the public interest test?
Yes.
Sharon's just called me if I can take you through it. Members will have the public interest test in from them and the relevant paragraphs from the legislation for their consideration. We just need somebody to move that they accept the recommendation of the proper officer and the monitoring officer that the public should not be present for the consideration of the appendices as outlined in the report. Could somebody move that for me, please?
I'm going to move the recommendation, Chair.
And can we have a second?
Second, Chair.
And can we have a show of hands, please, to agree the public interest test? Thank you. That's been approved. Members, you'll now move into exempt session. If you give Sharon a second, she will close the recording and members can move then into exempt session.